How's it going, everybody? We're here for a Sunday drive on a Thursday. One of these days we'll get it. So I haven't uploaded the past week or two. I don't know. That's kind of. I'm not even gonna lie. I was busy one week, working on windows and a roof and stuff, which I fell off of. But we'll explain that while we're driving. Um, let's see. How long has it been? Let's see here. Give me a second. Gotta find things. There we are. It's been 3 weeks since the last. Oh. And the last was a Sunday drive. Well, whatever. We can do it again. Alright. Today we're in the 2017 Nissan GTR. No upgrades on it because this car is new. I've never driven it. I just put a paint job on it. And by a paint job I mean one I found. It's a Kame ga Kill. Great anime. So yeah, here's the car. All its Kame ga Kill glory. Great anime, by the way. Love it. And yeah, we're just gonna have a Sunday drive, and I'm gonna explain how I fell off a roof and how such a thing could happen and why I was on it in the first place. Uh, Reason one as to why I was on a roof was we were fixing a chimney, like a wooden chimney, not a brick one. I don't mess with brick. Sick drift. Um, it, Chimney is kind of old. A couple of the wood, actually one of the pieces of wood needing replacing, but the wood behind it was like very rotted. That if we would have actually taken that out, it would have been more trouble. So we like kind of nailed it back on there, super sealed that shit, and yeah, we fixed that. That wasn't a problem. But we were also getting measurements of the roof for the guy who had originally paid us to, uh, fix the chimney. And all was going well. I was going down on the roof to, like, get it to the edge to measure it. And one of the shingles, and let me say this. This roof is like 30 years old. It has not been replaced in a while, and we were getting measurements so they could like replace the gutters, go ahead and do a new roof, all that, all the good stuff. And I went to go step on one of the shingles, and one of the shingles was like, "Hey, now seems like a good time to just not be here anymore." So honestly, not a bad drift zone. So I ended up sliding down and falling off the roof. It was only like a 7 foot ish drop. It was not that bad. I landed on the grass, but boy oh boy did it still hurt, because I slid down shingles, couldn't catch myself, obviously because there's nothing to grab onto and I couldn't get grip, and I landed on the ground. I landed on my side, I kind of like curled up in a ball and just protected my head, obviously, was the first goal. Was main priority was protect the head. If something else breaks, it'll be fine. If my head breaks, we don't know what that'll do. But I was fine. I ended up just with a couple bruises, and sorry, and everything was great. I mean, it wasn't great. I fell off a roof, but still. And then I came home. You need to not do that. I came home, and I just slept the rest of the day because everything was hurting. And by everything, I mean all the right side that I landed on. And so my skater instincts took over and was like, we need to protect the head and curl up in a ball and disperse as much of the pressure as possible. Why curling up in a ball was my idea of doing that? Couldn't tell you, but it was, and it worked. Let me tell you. Had I landed on my back, could have been bad. Had I landed on my legs, probably would have ended up with more broken ankles. And I say more because, yes, I have broken both my ankles before. And not only did I break both of them before, I broke them both at the exact same time. Yeah. Let that sink in. Yeah, we'll tell that story too. So, the way that one happened was, I used to live in Helena, Montana. If you've heard of it, good job. Gold star. If you haven't, well, you probably should have, because it's like the capital of Montana. They're, learning that in school or something. And, so, there's this park called Memorial Park, and they have this big memorial stage, entirely made of concrete, steps and all, and big brain me was like, why did I hit the brakes? Was like, hey, I'm gonna jump off those. And my two friends that were with me were like, probably not a good idea. And I was like, yep, great idea. I can make that. Did I make it? No. I almost did. I kind of I was like, I don't know why I was thinking more height. Like I could just glide down the stairs, but I didn't want to hit my butt on the stairs. So I like got some height, but I didn't quite get the distance. And when I curled my body to land to roll, the back of both my heels hit the steps, and through the power of, I believe, kinetic energy, correct me on that, the energy decided to go from my heels into my ankles, and my ankles were like, now's a good time to release that same that same energy. Sorry. Stronged out for a second. And, yeah. They were like, okay, we're done for the day, and they went kaplowy. Just like that. Or actually, they went more crack. But still, I had to go to the ER, and one of my friends who was there took care of me for the next couple of days, at least until I could walk. And boy, was I stubborn not using crutches. Because he had to help me up the stairs. He carried me because he is the homie. Colby, thank you for honestly carrying me up the stairs. And just kind of letting me slide down the stairs. That was fun. Because Mom said, no sliding down the stairs. We don't want to make it worse. And Colby was like, I'm not carrying you, so we slid me down the stairs. It was fun. And going back to the comment of me stroking out earlier, because I couldn't find my words, I've also had a stroke at the age of 17. I'm 18 now, but I was 17, I think, when this happened. Yeah, because it happened like last January. So, this was another fun one. I woke up one morning, and I don't remember if I've told this story. If I have, well, I hope you've heard it before. If I haven't, then I hope you're hearing it now. And for those of you who may not have ever heard it, you're hearing it now. So, I pretty much decided, well, what would be the best idea for breakfast this morning? And I was like, well, first I'm going to use the bathroom. And I was trying to get out of bed. And what happened? I couldn't get out of bed. I took an insane amount of effort. I was like, okay, this is odd. So I was sitting there trying to get out of bed. Not happening. My body was like, nope, we cannot do this today. Bad time. Come back later. And I was like, but I need to use the bathroom. And I managed, after having to use all my strength that I had on my right side, I finally got up, used the bathroom, and I went into the kitchen. And I was like, okay, what am I gonna have for breakfast? And I couldn't decide, so I was like, whatever, I'll just go sit I'll just go sit on the couch. I went to go to the couch, and I suddenly lost every last milliounce, I know that's not a real thing, but every last ounce of strength. on my left side as I went to go take a step, and I ate carpet. And I was like, uh-oh, this is bad. And conveniently, Mom was coming around the corner, and she's like, why are you laying on the floor? And I was like, well, I would like to know these answers myself, because I can't feel my left side. It is completely numb, and I have no strength there. And she was like, oh, your body's just tired. And I'm like, I have been up for the past hour struggling with this. And she's like, oh, shit, we should actually call not the cops, the ambulance, 911. And by the way, this was my first time in an ambulance as well. The guys in there, very nice, respectable men. One of them was in the Marines. Or Navy. Navy, it was the Navy, I remember now. So, after we talked about how I wanted to previously be in the military but couldn't due to other medical conditions, I decided maybe I'll be an EMT. And I still might do that, I don't know yet. Haven't decided. And I was like, okay, cool, have a nice day, thank you for helping me get to this hospital. And he was like, hey, no problem. And then he left. And then the nurse came in.
You have arrived at your destination.
Boy, she had a personality. I'm not even gonna lie on that one. She was out there. She's like, what's the problem? And I was like, I think I'm stroking out. And she's like, morphine. And I'm like, okay. Never had morphine before, but sure, let's go for it. And she's like, well, you know, she asked what I was allergic to first. And I told her. I can't think of it off the top of my drug, but... off the top of my drug, I can't think of it. The top of my head, I can't remember. It's like starts with the K. And I was like, okay. Well, she was like, okay, we're going to give you morphine. I was like, I've never had morphine. She's like, well, prepare to have fun. And I was like, okay. And my mom was like, yeah, morphine's pretty great. And I was like, okay. And then I had morphine. That was pretty great. And then, why are you up there? And then I decided, hey, it's morphine time. Honestly, some of that's kind of fuzzy, but I remember getting an MRI for the first time. That machine is loud as heck. Like, Jesus. I don't know if you've ever had an MRI scan done, but yeah, that machine they put you in is loud. And they say don't stare at the red dot, and I never understood why. But I was instructed not to stare at the red dot, so I didn't. And then the lady asked me, she's like, hey, the headphones are broken, what kind of music you like? And I was like, I like rock. I was gonna say metal, but I feel like we couldn't, I didn't want anyone to go into that territory. We just took that. So, we listened to some classic rock, some like Led Zeppelin, some Aerosmith, you know, they put on Spotify and just played it through the speakers. Very nice people. Or is Pandora, I don't remember. Anyways, after we kind of jammed out to that whatever we were listening to at the time, they admitted me to a room. And they were like, yeah, your brain is in a weird state. And I was like, oh, imagine that. That's new, right? My brain being in an awkward, weird state. Who knew? And, excuse me. And so I was like, okay, cool. And I kind of sat in the room. They did some tests. They had me hooked up to like this sleep apnea machine or whatever to check my breathing to make sure I didn't have any irregular breathing. Guess who decides just not to breathe in their sleep? Me. I was like, hey, do I need one of those machines? And they're like, yeah. And I was like, okay, cool. Insurance didn't cover it, so I'm still just risking suffocating every time I go to bed. So that's fun to think about. Yeah, it was funny, because I woke up one night with like 3 nurses huddled around me, and I was like, hey, I'm trying to sleep, what's going on? They were like, well, you stopped breathing. I was like, what do you mean I stopped breathing? I'm still breathing. And they were like, you weren't breathing for like a solid minute. And I was like, oh, cool. So yeah, that's when we figured out that I tend to stop breathing in my sleep. And then I was like, hey, I'm tired. I'm going back to sleep. And of course, I had Cartoon Network on, which at this point it was Adult Swim time, so whatever was on. And then we decided the next course of action was to actually stick these things to my head, which, by the way, I was kind of against because I thought they were going to shave my head, and I've been spending years on working on my luxurious hair. And they're like, no, 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 no. With these, they just pull right off. Yeah, they pull right off, alright. Taking your damn hair with it, too. Nah, not really. Wherever the gel wasn't the strongest, because they used a special gel just to kind of, like, make it still readable, but, like, not also take half my damn head of hair off. So, after all of this came the fun part.
You have arrived
What
at your
might be the fun
destination.
part, you say? Well, we found out my brain was doing weird stuff. And they're like, well, it's responding normal, but as for whatever the heck happened, here's the problem. And I was like, oh. And the problem was, we found out I have emotional conversion disorder. Which, if you don't know what that is, which honestly I don't expect you to, is where a certain set of emotions will actually just be converted into how, which mainly it's like, you know, stress, anger, all that stuff, will be transferred. Like, you won't feel it. You won't know it's there. You will just be like, huh, I feel fine, and then move on with your day. Yeah, apparently I had so much stress built up that I didn't know about, because I'm just super, oh yeah, that was cool. Alright. Like, just go with the flow. Apparently I had so much stress built up that my body just decided to release it at once. So technically I didn't have a stroke. I just had the effects without the power. If that makes sense. Like, I had the numbness and everything, I just didn't have the actual risk of death. And then that's when it became very obvious that I need to find a way to relieve stress. And I was very confused because I was like, because they were like, well, whenever you feel stressful, and I was like, slight problem with that. And they're like, oh yeah, sorry. Whenever you think you feel stressful, I was like, how am I supposed to think when I feel stressful when I can't tell? Do I just have to guess and hope that's the day? I don't know. So, when they say don't bottle up your stress, don't. Unless you can't help it like me. Then still try not to. But considering, don't get me wrong, I still do get frustrated and angry and stressed out, just not as long. Like, some people, something will happen and they'll be stressed out throughout, like, the next few days or even weeks and just be a total wreck, whereas I'm just kind of like, oh no, that's bad, and then keep going. Time to head back to the castle. So, that was fun. What's our time looking like? Almost 20 minutes, okay. So yeah, on top of having, you know, emotional conversion disorder, on top of the reason I'm not able to join the military as much as I would like to, is that's the edge of the map. Is I have scoliosis and varicose veins, where my veins are just kind of like, we're gonna stop pumping blood through us, and it's not like blood clots. It can cause them, don't get me wrong. 100% can. If I don't, like, exercise and keep my legs a moving. Which I do. I don't exercise, but I keep my legs a moving. I do get up and, like, walk around. I don't just sit here like I'm doing now. And then, so those kind of ended me going into the Marines, which sucks. But it's what it is. So now I've been trying to figure out what I want to do for a living. I might just be an EMT, like I said. I actually kind of really want to do that. Because I have a lot of respect for them. because like they are the deciding factor a lot of times in someone's life, like how quickly they get there, what they do when they get there, and I have a lot of respect for them. Like, all jokes aside, I really do. And then, my personal opinion, I don't want to get political or start anything here, but I personally think first aid, like just basic first aid, like CPR and stuff, is something we should 100% teach in school. Like, just, not even as a full subject, take like a subject that it could be relevant in, like science or something. Because, you know, biology, you know, human body is still like, or anthropology, whatever, is still, you know, is still science. It's human science, like science on the human body, but still science. So I feel like that's something we could teach there. Like, it's just one of those basic things I think should be taught, but it isn't. It's replaced by very remedial things, like math, like, it's, can you add, can you subtract, can you multiply, can you divide? That's basically all you need to know. Unless you want to go into a field that would require more advanced math, like science. Like, I have a friend who was in it, was and is going into college. She was in an advanced math class, and she said they use these things called imaginary numbers. So you have to use fake numbers that aren't there to solve equations. I'm like, that's dumb! How would you know what numbers to make up? So, that's just me. So, I feel like, and then English, like, if, I understand grammar is important, and, like, knowing how to, like, properly form sentences and everything, that's fine. That's honestly teachable. And then, yeah, that's honestly all I have to say on that. And on that note, I hope you enjoyed this, I guess, story-esque video. I'm not actually going to put this one out this Saturday. It'll be a week later. I'll put something out in this one's place, because I just can't bring myself to have 2 Sunday drives, one right after the other, even though there is a 3-week period. I guess when this would go up, 4-week period between them. So, on that note, if you like, if you subscribe again, but don't unsubscribe. You know, use a different account or something. Whatever you want. And then I will talk to you guys in the next video. Oh, yeah, drift around that notification bell, drift into it, make it ding, do something. I guess, I don't know. I almost forgot that part. Good job, me. You almost messed that one up, me! So, I just accidentally turned myself down. Okay, hold on. I gotta shout here. Yeah, okay, bye! I didn't mean to turn myself down!